So the next sample in sample book 2 is the snaps sample. You will cut two copies of this pattern piece, one for the snaps and the other one for the flat hook and eye. In this case, I did not use the tracing paper and the tracing wheel to transfer the information from paper to fabric. What I am going to do is I am going to notch. So this mark over here is a mark for the sewer from the pattern maker to let them know that to snip this part. Once I snip this part, I have an indication from where to place my interfacing piece. So it's between this dashed line, which is the fold line. So right now I snipped this line and I'm going to fold it under the garment. But before I do that, I will take my interfacing piece and I will place it from the edge up to the fold line on the wrong side of the garment. You will also notice that we have two dots over here, and these dots indicate where the tailor text will be. This line over here is the center line, and it is the line that we place our snaps on. So this will be a placement for the first snap, and this one will be the placement for the second snap. And to mark them on the fabric, I will use a double threaded needle, and I don't need to have any knots. So, and I'm going to come to the center of this dot and I will do a tailor tack. Okay. I will leave a couple of yarns and then I'll come back again, and as usual the tail is somewhere between 1.5 inches to 2 inches. And then this is my first tailor tack, and I'll do a second one over here. So again, in the center of the dot, I'll go from the pattern piece to the back of the fabric. This is a cut 2 piece, so I have 2 pieces of fabric under my pattern piece, and that is because usually when you have a closure on a garment, you have a right side and a left side of the garment, and they overlap at the center front line. This snipping method or notching method, this is called the notch, and this notch is to indicate where the fold line is going to be. And I have the tailor tags to indicate where my snaps will be. Okay, once I have that, I can remove my pins and I can remove my pattern piece. Okay, separate my fabric pieces away from each other without going all the way, and then cut in between so that the information are on both pieces of fabric. Okay. In this case, this will be the wrong side and this is the wrong side. So on the wrong side of the fabric, I'll take my interfacing piece and I will apply the grainy side of the interface to the wrong side of the fabric. All right, and I'll press this in place, and I have to make sure that I have a mirror imaged piece. So I will flip this piece, and here are the 2 points where the tailor tags are. I don't know if you can see them, but here up close you can see that. and in this case also the grainy side of the interfacing will go to the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so I'll go press these in place, and then I will also use the notches. So I have a notch over here and a notch over here, and I will use these notches to fold the fabric after I apply the interfacing as a guide to fold, and this will be the fold line. So I'll press this off camera and I'll come back and show you the result. Okay, again, you have to make sure that they are mirror image, and the interfacing piece is applied to the narrower part of the pattern, and it's applied from the edge to the folding line or the folding notch on both sides. Okay, I'll press this in place and I'll come back and show you the next step. So right now I actually brought my ironing mat to the table, and I am going again, my interfacing piece is coming from the edge up to where the notch is. Okay, and I am going to press it in place on the wrong side of the fabric. Okay, so I am going to press it in place on the wrong side of the fabric. All right, now it's they are both attached to each other as if they are one layer, and I'll do the same thing on the other side. Okay, so I attached my interfacing piece to my fabric piece, and that's for reinforcement of the fabric. And I'll come here, find my notch on each side, and use these notches to fold my fabric back on that line that started and ended with a notch. Okay, and I'll do the same thing for this piece. So here is the top notch and here is the bottom notch. I will use them to fold the fabric using these notches. You can finger press, and then I'm going to use my iron to press the fold. Okay, so now I have two pieces that are interfaced and with a folded edge, and again the overlap will happen on the line where the tailor tacks are. Okay, so I'll be overlapping these two lines on top of each other. So this preparation will be used for both the snap sample and the flat hook and eye sample. Alright, so the exact same preparation will happen for both of them. Right now, if I flip to the wrong side, I can see where my tailor tack is, and on this side also it's the right side, and I can see where my tailor tacks are. In this case, on this side, the snap will be attached to both the front and the back. So you will have basically a top side and underside or bottom side, and the snaps are attached to between the folded part, and it doesn't reach the outside. So if this is the outside of the garment, we don't see the snaps or the stitching of the snaps on the right side of the garment. The whole attachment happen on the interfaced part. To transfer the information from the tailor tag to the back side of the piece, I will use pins. So I will pierce in the center of the tailor tag so that I can see it from the wrong side of the garment, and I will mark where my pin is as the center of my snap placement. All right, so snaps are a type of fasteners, and they come in different sizes. They are two different pieces. This piece over here, this one has a socket and this one has a bowl, so the bowl side goes towards or attached to the outside of the garment, and the socket side is attached to the underlayer. All right, and again I need to transfer the information so that I can see where the snap needs to be attached on the inside. So I am piercing the fabric using pins, going to the wrong side and marking where the pin came out as the center of my snap. So I will center the snap on that point that I indicated with my heat erasable marker. So for the underside, the socket side, the snaps are going to be centered on where the tailor tags are and attached to both layers. Okay, so, and then the side that will cover, or the right side of the garment, the bowl will be centered on the mark that I transferred. All right, and it will be only between the folded part and the snap. So the outside of the garment is not going to be involved. And in this case, these two snaps will be centered on top of the pin mark that I indicated. Okay, but the sewing itself is gonna be just on the interfaced side of the garment, and the right side of the garment is not gonna be involved. And then we will overlap both after we're done. Okay, so to attach the snap, I prepared a double needle, double threaded needle, and you will create a knot, right? And you can cut the tail. I will show one socket and one bowl, and in this case you will actually kind of do the second one. It's exactly the same way. So I can take my first stitch involving both layers. I can now remove my tailor tag, and then I'll come right next to that and take an anchoring stitch. Okay, anchoring stitch is where you sew, and then you loop your thread around the needle. Okay, and now I anchored my thread to the fabric. Okay, and again this will be the center of my socket, and the socket goes on the under layer of the garment. I will start in any of these openings. Each snap side has 4 openings, so you will start from the underside and go towards the top side. I will center my snap where my anchoring stitch is, and I'll be stitching about 3 or 4 stitches in each of these opening, and stitching the snap to the fabric. And then once I'm done with one side, I'll pass my needle to the next opening between the 2 layers. So I shouldn't be seeing it from the wrong side of the fabric. All right, and then I'll do the same thing with the second. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then I'll move on to the next one. Two, 3, and 4. And the last one. 1, and 4. And this is the last stitch, so I will anchor my thread in place, and then I'll pass my thread between the 2 layers, come to the wrong side, pull my needle, and I will trim my thread in between. So this will be the right side of the garment, and this will be the wrong side of the garment. And as you can see, you can barely see actually the attachment between both of them. You will need to do the other socket in here, okay? And I'll move on to the ball. So I have my mark indicated with my pen that I transferred from the tailor tag to the wrong side. In this case, I will open this one so that I don't involve the outside of the garment at all. So the ball side is the top layer side, and again, here is my knot. Okay, I can start from the wrong side of the garment, pass my needle in my point, and I can do an anchoring stitch. Okay, and then I'll center, I will center the snap on my point and attach the ball side the same way I attach the socket side. So also 4 stitches in each opening. This time just make sure that you're not involving the right side of the garment, because this is the top side of the garment, the viewer side basically. So we shouldn't really see any stitching, I think attachment stitching on the right side of the garment. Again, once you finish one eyelet, you will move to the next one. and 4 and to the last one, and then I'll do the anchoring stitch once I'm done. 2 and 3 and 4 to the wrong side of the fabric. Anchor your thread and trim it. And this one is done. Okay, so here is the socket side, here is the ball side, and when we fasten this garment, if I don't have this tailor tag, the attachment is happening between the two parts of the snap. You can barely see any stitching on the wrong side of the underside, and also there is no stitching whatsoever on the right side or the viewer side of the garment, because this will be the garment, the right side of the garment. Okay, I have another one that's all done. So when it's all done, this is what you're going to have. You will have 2 sockets on the underside and 2 balls on the top side, without involvement of the right side of the garment in the stitching of the ball side. Okay, and this is the snap closure sample. I'll see you in the next one, which will be the flat hook and eye, as if you are creating we use the flat one in skirts or pants. So I'll show you this one next, which is the flat hook and eye. Again, this is the snaps sample in sample book part 2.